It is 9 p.m. You have done everything right today. You ate carefully, you moved your body, you even told yourself tomorrow the belly fat will finally start to go. But this is the moment that quietly ruins everything, because fat loss is not decided in the gym. It is not decided by calories. It is decided at night. Right now, your body is asking one simple question. Is it safe to burn fat, or should I store it to survive? And most people answer that question wrong, every single night. Late meals, bright screens, mental stress you think does not matter. Each one sends a powerful biological signal that tells your body the same thing. Hold on to belly fat, not because you are lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because your hormones are being programmed in the worst possible direction. Cortisol stays high when it should fall. Insulin stays active when it should rest. Melatonin never rises enough to let your body repair and reset. So even if you eat perfectly tomorrow, the damage is already done. In this video, you will learn the 3 nighttime mistakes that silently lock belly fat in place, and more importantly, how to reverse them without eating less or training harder. Because until you fix your evenings, your body will never let the fat go. After 7 p.m., your body is no longer trying to perform. It is trying to recover. This is the part most people never learn. Human biology runs on a daily rhythm that evolved long before gyms, calorie trackers, and late-night entertainment. When the sun goes down, your nervous system is supposed to slow. Your metabolism is supposed to shift from output to repair. At night, fat loss becomes indirect. It no longer comes from movement. It comes from hormone alignment. This is when your body decides whether it can safely let stored energy go or whether it needs to protect it. If the signals are calm and predictable, fat can be released. If the signals feel chaotic or threatening, fat is defended, especially around the abdomen. Why the abdomen? Because from a survival perspective, belly fat is not cosmetic. It is emergency energy. And your body does not care about your goals. It only cares about signals. 3 systems become dominant in the evening. First, your stress response. This determines whether your body feels safe enough to shut down. Second, your blood sugar regulation. This determines whether stored fuel stays locked or becomes accessible. Third, your sleep chemistry. This determines whether repair hormones ever reach the level required to reset metabolism. None of these systems respond to motivation. They respond to timing, light, food, and mental state. This is why 2 people can eat the same calories, train the same way, and get completely different results. One person sends calming signals at night. The other unknowingly sends danger signals. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most belly fat is not created during the day. It is protected at night. The problem is not what you do once. It is what you repeat every evening without realizing it. In the next part, we will break down the first mistake almost everyone makes after dinner. It looks harmless. It feels normal. But biologically, it tells your body to hold on to fat. Mistake 1. Eating at the wrong time, then stopping completely. After dinner, most people believe the job is done. They think fat loss pauses until tomorrow. Biologically, this is where the real decision begins. Eating late does not automatically make you gain fat. What matters is when your body expects fuel and what happens next. At night, your insulin sensitivity drops. This is not a flaw. It is a protective mechanism. Your cells are preparing for rest, not for storage management. So when food arrives too late, insulin has to work harder to clear it from the blood. And when insulin stays elevated at night, one critical process shuts down. Growth hormone release. Growth hormone is not a muscle-building hormone. At night, it is a repair and fat-mobilizing hormone. It helps break down stored fat so tissues can recover, but insulin blocks it. So when you eat late and then sit still, you send 2 signals at once. Fuel is still coming in, and energy demand has dropped to 0. Your body does exactly what it was designed to do. It stores, especially around the abdomen. Because abdominal fat is fast access energy, it is the safest place to keep reserves when the body feels uncertain. This is why eating the same dinner at 6 p.m. and at 9 p.m. produces different outcomes. Not because of calories, but because of timing and follow-up signals. Now here is the part most people never hear. The problem is not dinner itself. It is what you do in the 30 minutes after. When you eat and immediately sit or lie down, blood sugar stays elevated longer, insulin stays active longer, and the window for nighttime fat release quietly closes. The fix is simple, but it must be precise. Finish dinner earlier when possible. Prioritize protein and vegetables over refined carbohydrates. Then move gently, not exercise. Movement, a slow walk, 10 to 15 minutes. Just enough to tell your muscles to absorb glucose instead of your fat cells. This single habit lowers nighttime insulin without stressing your nervous system. It protects growth hormone release, and it signals safety instead of storage. For people with insulin resistance or diabetes, this step matters even more. The movement must stay light. The timing must stay consistent. Because at night, your body does not respond to force. It responds to signals. And most people are sending the wrong one without realizing it. In the next section, we will look at a mistake that feels completely unrelated to food, yet it may be even more powerful in locking belly fat in place. Mistake 2. Light at night that confuses your biology. After dinner, the most powerful signal you send is not food, it is light. Your eyes are not just for seeing, they are timing sensors connected directly to your brain. When light hits the retina at night, especially bright or blue heavy light, your brain receives a simple message: it is still daytime. This message travels straight to the hypothalamus, the control center that regulates hormones, temperature, and metabolism, and once that message arrives, a critical chain reaction is disrupted. Melatonin does not rise. Melatonin is often called the sleep hormone, but that description is incomplete. It is also a metabolic reset signal. At night, melatonin allows insulin sensitivity to fall safely. It allows cortisol to shut down, and it creates the internal environment where fat can be released instead of defended. When melatonin is suppressed, your body stays in a half-awake, half-stressed state, not alert enough to perform, not calm enough to repair. This is why people who sleep 8 hours can still wake up exhausted and inflamed. Their brains never received the signal that night truly began. The most dangerous part is how normal this feels. Bright ceiling lights, television, phones held inches from the face, each one quietly tells your body to delay repair. And delayed repair means delayed fat loss. This is not about discipline or willpower. Your biology cannot override light. The fix is not darkness, it is direction. After sunset, light should come from below eye level. It should be warm, not white or blue, and it should gradually dim as bedtime approaches. Screens do not need to disappear completely, but their timing and intensity must change. Lower brightness, shift to warmer tones, create a clear 90-minute window where your brain understands that night has begun. For people who work late or have irregular schedules, the solution is not perfection, it is consistency. Your body can adapt to almost any routine. What it cannot adapt to is chaos. When light timing becomes predictable, melatonin rises earlier and stronger, sleep deepens, cortisol drops, and belly fat loses one of its strongest defenses. In the final section, we will talk about a mistake that has no calories, no screens, and no obvious physical trigger. Yet it may be the most powerful signal of all. Mistake 3. Going to bed with a loud mind. By the time the lights are dim and the house is quiet, most people think the hard part is over. They believe sleep begins when the body lies down. Biologically, sleep begins when the mind feels safe. This is the mistake that hides in plain sight. You can eat early, you can control light perfectly, and still lock belly fat in place if your nervous system never powers down. Stress before sleep does not need to feel dramatic. It rarely does. It sounds like replaying conversations, planning tomorrow, scrolling through bad news, solving problems that cannot be solved at night. To your conscious mind, this feels normal. To your biology, it feels like a threat. When the brain senses unresolved stress, it keeps cortisol elevated. Not sharply, quietly. Just enough to block deep recovery. Cortisol at night does not make you feel anxious. It makes you shallow. Shallow sleep, shallow breathing, shallow repair. And when repair is shallow, fat loss is postponed, because fat loss requires safety. At night, the body asks a simple question: can I shut down or do I need to stay alert? If the answer is stay alert, belly fat becomes protected tissue. It is stored energy for uncertain times. This is why people who say, "I sleep fine," can still wake up tired, hungry, and inflamed. Their brains never fully disengaged. The solution is not positive thinking, and it is not forcing relaxation. It is giving your nervous system a clear ending, a predictable transition from doing to being. This can be as simple as 5 minutes of slow breathing, long exhales, a rhythm that tells the vagus nerve the danger is past. It can be writing tomorrow's worries down so the brain no longer needs to hold them. It can be a repeated sequence that never changes, same order, same timing, same signal. When this ritual becomes consistent, cortisol drops on its own, melatonin rises higher, sleep deepens without effort, and for the first time your body feels safe enough to release what it has been holding. In the final part, we will put everything together into a simple evening timeline, not a checklist, a biological sequence. Because fat loss is not about doing more, it is about sending the right signals in the right order. At this point, the pattern should be clear. Belly fat is not stubborn, it is cautious. Your body is not waiting for more effort, it is waiting for clarity. So instead of fixing isolated habits, you need a sequence, because biology responds to order, not intentions. Here is what a fat-releasing evening actually looks like. Dinner happens early enough that digestion can finish before sleep. The meal is simple: protein first, vegetables next, carbohydrates only if needed. Not to restrict, but to close the feeding window cleanly. After dinner, the body needs one message: we are done for the day. This is where light movement belongs. A slow walk. 10 minutes is enough, not to burn calories, but to clear blood sugar and lower insulin without stress. As the evening continues, light begins to change, not suddenly, gradually. Overhead lights fade, warm light replaces white light, screens become dimmer and less central. This is not about rules, it is about direction. The brain starts to recognize the approach of night. Then comes the most important transition: the end of thinking. This is where most people fail, not because they are careless, but because no one taught them how to close the day. A short ritual does that job. Breathing slows, exhales lengthen. The nervous system receives a final message: nothing else is required tonight. When these signals arrive in the right order, something changes quietly. Cortisol falls without effort. Insulin rests. Melatonin rises naturally. Sleep becomes deeper, not longer. And during that depth, repair finally begins. This is when fat loss is allowed, not forced, allowed. Because from a biological perspective, fat is released only when the body feels safe enough to let it go. This is why extreme dieting fails. This is why harder training backfires. And this is why evenings matter more than mornings for belly fat. You do not need to be perfect, you need to be consistent. Pick one evening this week and try this sequence, just one. Then notice what changes, not on the scale, in your sleep, in your hunger, in how your body feels when you wake up. If you want to understand your body instead of fighting it, stay here, like the video, subscribe. And tell us in the comments your age, your usual bedtime, and which evening habit surprised you the most. Because the moment you stop sending danger signals at night is the moment your body stops holding on to fat.